Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. A couple of weeks ago I had the chance to unbox this baby here, and finally it's done. So this means that it's now time to mount it and to seal it. Now this painting, I bought it from AliExpress from Kami Factory Store. I'll put the link down into the description box, and in the former video I'll put the link here up on the screen. I talked a little bit about my experience with this painting. I'll briefly say it here again. It's an okay quality canvas for the price that I paid. The symbols were clear enough, I would say. It was not that difficult. The drill quality is not super, really, but I have no popping drills. I had enough drills to complete the whole canvas with no problem. I still have a lot of leftover drills, so that's okay. But I did have a lot of trash drills actually. So for the rest, yeah, the symbols actually on this canvas are, a lot of them are very similar in color and very similar in shape. So this means that I had a lot of Y's and V's together, both shades of bluish gray, or D's and Q's, also quite similar. But for the rest, it was a pleasant experience. This canvas, this design in particular, is what a lot of people would call confetti, because as you can see, there are not big parts of uniform colors. So I think in each square that I did, I had to use at least 4/5 of the color range. So it took a long time to actually complete, but the result is really cool, and I can't wait to hang this on my wall. What I want to do is I want to mount this on this piece of plywood. I cut it to the same size of the diamond painting. So what I want to do is put this on, tuck in the sides, and then I have a nice flat surface, and then I'm gonna seal it with resin. So first things first, what I want to do is with a pencil point out where the corners are of my canvas. I'm gonna use white PVA glue. This like white, just simple white school glue. I don't know how you call it. Anyway, this is from Prit, but any brand should do actually. So now, to let it dry as flat as possible, I'm going to put another piece of plywood, put this on top, and I'm gonna press it with these. Okay, so now I'm going to let this dry and come back later for to tuck these in, and then we're going with the resin. Okay, so for the edges I'm going to use contact glue because it's gonna dry up faster and I have more control over the bending of these edges. Okay, so this is done. It's more or less perfectly flat, I would say, yeah. What I'm gonna do now is protect the edges in a way or another. I think I'm going to use some tape, maybe some like washi tape or whatever, to make a little barrier around the corners, so when I go with the resin, I won't have too much of a mess dripping on the sides. At least that's the plan. I hope it will work. I'm not sure. Okay, so the resin I'm gonna use is this resin technology epoxy B component AB 100:60 ratio. I think I'm gonna do 30 grams, hoping that's gonna be enough. I have this really cheap brush, so I can try to get the resin into all the little crevices and distribute it as evenly as possible. It's an experiment. I have never done this before, obviously, being this my first diamond painting. I've never really also sealed any painting with resin, so
we'll see how this goes.
So it turns out I still have a little bit of resin left, and I'm not sure if I should keep adding, just not to waste this resin, or I would actually lose too much of the sparkly effect at the end. I don't know. I try to add a little bit more because I want to avoid the formation of pools on the painting, because that would come out really ugly and it would lose all the shine and it would look really sloppy. So trying to even out the resin as much as possible. I'm gonna let this dry, try to put it in on a flat, even surface, and then I'll come back when it's completely dry. So we are the next day and it's fully dried. So I removed the tape around the edges and the result is pretty neat. I'm quite happy about it. Now I have to say, for those who like actually the sparkle in the diamond painting and want to maintain as much as possible from it, I would not recommend this technique, because there's a lot of sparkle actually from the diamonds that gets lost in the process. Maybe it would have been less if I used less resin, so just a very tiny veil in between every drill. But here it's quite, I use quite a lot of it, so it's actually just the tip of the drills that's protruding, so there's less of a reflection of light. But I'm not a fan of sparkly glitter or whatever, so for me that's not a problem. But for those of you who actually want to retain the sparkle of it, I would probably not recommend it, or at least not use as much resin as I did. As you can see here on the edges, more or less, you can see there's a flat edge. So I'm gonna sand this, because when this still has to harden a tiny little bit, but in order to avoid this to have like a cutting edge, I will have to sand it all around it. So once this is done, the last thing I want to do here is give it kind of a black edge around the corners. So here I want this to be all black, and maybe have a very thin line around the edges where it's a little bit black, so that it gives kind of a frame around it. So what I'm gonna do is use some masking tape and cover everything that's above the first row of the diamond painting. So this is the final result. I am pretty pleased about it. I hope you like it too, and maybe give you some new sealing ideas and mounting ideas for your diamond paintings. Anyways, I wish you a very nice day and see you next time. Bye!